The laser guide in theory is fantastic. When I selected stitch on the machine, there is a button with a laser icon. Press this button and a pop-up window appears, and suddenly two lines are projected onto the fabric. These lines can be toggled between red, white and green colors. The choice of color is important for visibility against different fabric patterns and textures. You can also adjust the length of these lines with options like L for long, M for medium and S for short. The distance between the lines is another adjustable parameter. I can set it at common sewing measurements like 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch and so on. This feature is designed to cater to various seam allowances without the need for measuring and marking. Beyond just lines, the machine also offers a grid option. There is the angle lines feature, which is supposed to be useful for tasks like creating bias binding, but I couldn't figure it out yet. All these features should eliminate the need for marking the fabric. But now comes the real test, trying to use it. Okay, the laser guide projected two straight lines onto the fabric. Brother Luminaire allows me to change the laser color, so for my stitching line I chose red and for the edge of my fabric green. As I sew, I need to keep the green laser aligned with the edge of my fabric. This is what makes a consistent seam allowance. I should focus on the fabric edge while the machine takes care of the stitching alignment. But there is a catch. I cannot really see the green line on the edge of my fabric. I adjust my fabric, but the moment the fabric moves a mere millimeter, that green line can vanish. As I sew, I try to keep everything aligned, but the green line moves left and right with a mind of its own. It's just very difficult to see the laser line on the edge of the moving fabric or on the machine's throat plate. But I managed to sew straight and keep an even seam allowance. I can change the laser from green to red, hoping for a clearer guide. Indeed, I can see it better, but the red line proved to be just as uncooperative. After spending more time with the laser guide on my sewing machine, I am beginning to get the hang of it. Here is the result of my test, and as you can see, the stitches are indeed straight and the seam allowances are equal. The laser guide does work, but it's not without its challenges. Keeping the fabric aligned with the beam requires a level of concentration that's a bit more intense than I anticipated. I also discovered that I can actually move the position of the laser lines on the throat plate. So I moved it forward a bit. Now I have 1/2 inch of the laser line shining on the white arm of the machine. Now I can clearly see a part of the laser, and it is easier to maintain alignment. Alright, so the laser guide has proven its worth for straight lines, but the true test came when I faced the curved seams. Can the laser help maintain even seam allowances on the curves? To my surprise, yes, it can, with a bit of a tweak. I found that by shortening the laser length to a medium or even short setting, I could manage the curves more effectively. It's not the easiest task, mind you. Keeping the laser aligned with the ever-changing edge of a curve requires a gentle hand and a keen eye. The fabric seems to have a mind of its own, wanting to wander off the laser path. But with patience and practice, it's manageable. And as you can see, the result is not bad. The seam allowances are even. They say that using the laser guide on a brass luminaire can be particularly helpful when sewing decorative stitches. It's supposed to ensure your embellishments are precisely placed and aligned. Okay, let's try this. So I have chosen a decorative stitch from the machine's wide selection and turned on the laser guide. The process seemed straightforward enough, but the fabric was shifting out of alignment. I couldn't keep the laser line aligned with the edge. Okay, now let's check another task. Sewing strips together on a 45-degree angle is a common technique used in quilting to create binding or to join strips end to end without adding bulk. The laser guide should be perfect for such tasks. So I prepared my fabric strips, put the end across each other, right sides together to form that L shape, with the ends overlapping so they create a neat square at the intersection. But then came the snag. The starting corner was fully hidden beneath the top strip, out of sight. So I had to mark the corner before I could properly insert the needle and start sewing. But then I had to mark the opposite corner too, to align the laser line correctly with it. I sew from one marked corner to the other. The laser is my guide. So I did everything right, it seems. I marked the corners, positioned the fabric, and let the laser guide lead the way. The result? The strips ended up slightly askew. It wasn't the fault of the laser, it was my hands that didn't quite do the right thing. But does it matter where the blame lies? The bottom line is I cannot use the laser guide for this. It's supposed to be a tool that enhances precision, but if my own hands cannot follow its path accurately, then the tool loses its utility. I thought it would be simple to follow a straight line, but the slightest shift in fabric or a momentary lapse in concentration and you are off course. So, after my test run, my conclusion is this. The laser guide on my brass luminaire is elaborate, yes, but perhaps too much so for its own good. Yes, you can change colors, adjust the distance and do all sorts of fancy things with it, but all that tweaking takes time. For now, I prefer my old method. They might not be as high-tech, but they get the job done without the fuss.